Stop putting this in your raised bed. It's killing your plants. If you've been following SoilSage Chronicles, you know I love experimenting in the garden and sharing what actually works in real soil, not just what looks good on paper. Raised beds are a gardener's dream. They warm up faster in spring, drain well, and give us control over what goes into our soil. But here's the hard truth. So many gardeners unknowingly sabotage their plants by adding the wrong things into those beds. Today, I want to dig deep into the most common fillers and amendments that people throw into raised beds, thinking they're helping, when in reality, they're slowly killing their plants. Let's talk about what not to put in your raised beds, and what to do instead. The big mistake? Filling with pure compost. I know it's tempting. Compost is rich, dark, and full of nutrients, so why not just fill the entire raised bed with it? Here's why. Pure compost is too rich and unstable for long-term plant growth. When you plant directly into 100% compost, your plants might start off strong, but as the compost continues to decompose, it shrinks and collapses. This creates air pockets, roots get stressed, and suddenly your lush seedlings look sad. Even worse, overly rich compost can burn young roots with excess nitrogen, leading to yellowing leaves and stunted growth. What to do instead? Use a balanced mix. A good starting point is 40% compost, 40% topsoil, and 20% aeration material, like coarse sand, perlite, or aged wood chips. Compost should enrich the soil, not replace it. Think of it like seasoning in a recipe. Too much, and you ruin the dish. The hidden killer: fresh manure. This is a classic beginner trap. Fresh manure sounds natural and nutrient-rich, but in reality, it's a ticking time bomb for your plants. The high ammonia levels and salts in uncomposted manure can literally burn roots on contact. Beyond that, fresh manure can introduce harmful bacteria and weed seeds into your beds, a nightmare you'll be pulling out for months. What to do instead? If you want to use manure, make sure it's fully composted and aged for at least 6 to 12 months. Well-aged manure is a fantastic soil amendment rich in organic matter and nutrients. Add it in moderation, and your soil life will thank you. For years, garden books and well-meaning neighbors have told us to put a layer of gravel or rocks at the bottom of raised beds for drainage. Unfortunately, this advice has been thoroughly debunked. Instead of helping, the gravel actually creates a barrier that makes water pool above the rocks, leading to soggy roots and, honestly, root rot. So, what should you do instead? Just skip the gravel. Raised beds already drain better than in-ground beds. If you're worried about soggy soil, focus on creating the right soil blend with good organic matter and aeration. A fluffy, well-structured soil mix will keep roots breathing and thriving. Cardboard has its place in the garden. It's fantastic for sheet mulching or smothering weeds. But when gardeners line the inside of raised beds with cardboard, or even worse, plastic, they unintentionally trap water and restrict root penetration. Over time, the cardboard can also create soggy, anaerobic conditions that suffocate beneficial microbes. So, what should you do instead? If you're worried about weeds, place cardboard or newspaper underneath the bed before filling, not along the sides. Inside the bed, let the soil breathe freely and encourage deep, healthy root growth. This one honestly breaks my heart because I've seen beautiful raised beds built from materials that end up poisoning the soil. Pressure-treated lumber, railroad ties, or old painted boards might look sturdy and convenient, but they often leach toxic chemicals like arsenic, creosote, or lead right into the soil, and eventually into your vegetables. So what should you do instead? Always choose untreated, rot-resistant woods like cedar, cypress, or redwood. If budget is tight, regular pine works just fine as long as you accept that it will break down over time. You can also use stone, bricks, or even galvanized metal for a safe, long-lasting raised bed. The overlooked problem: too much mulch in the soil mix. Mulch is a superstar on the soil surface. It keeps moisture in, regulates temperature, and breaks down over time into organic matter. But when mulch, especially fresh wood chips or sawdust, gets mixed into the soil itself, it robs your plants of nitrogen as it decomposes. This is why gardeners sometimes see plants turn pale and stunted after mixing in fresh wood chips. So what to do instead? Well, keep mulch on top, not mixed in. Lay down a 2 to 3 inch layer as a protective blanket after planting, and if you want to add woody materials into the soil mix, make sure they are aged and broken down. Think composted bark or well-rotted wood chips. The shortcut that backfires bagged potting soil alone. It's easy to just dump in a few bags of store-bought potting soil and call it a day. But here's the problem. Potting soil is designed for containers, not deep raised beds. It's often too light and drains too fast, leaving your raised beds dry and nutrient poor in no time. So, what to do instead? If you want to use potting soil, blend it with compost and topsoil to create a mix that holds nutrients and moisture. Potting soil should be the fluff in the mix, not the foundation. Building a healthy raised bed the right way. So now that we've called out the common killers, what's the recipe for success? Here's the SoilSage approved formula for raised bed soil that lasts season after season. 40% topsoil for structure and mineral balance, 30 to 40% compost for nutrients and organic matter, and 20 to 30% aeration material, like coarse sand, perlite, aged bark, or even biochar, to keep the soil loose and breathable. Top it all off with a good layer of mulch to protect your soil life, and you'll have a raised bed that stays fertile, fluffy, and full of happy plants. Final thoughts. Learn from the mistakes. I've made every mistake I just listed. I've burned roots with fresh manure, watched plants collapse in pure compost, and even dug out gravel I once thought was helping. But here's the good news. Once you understand what not to put in raised beds, you unlock the secret to soil that truly works for you, not against you. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe to SoilSage Chronicles and share this with a fellow gardener who might be making one of these mistakes right now. Together, let's keep growing smarter, healthier, and greener gardens, one raised bed at a time.